called out to fix a leak on this roof. It's coming on the interior. I think it's leaking through the skylight. Upon first glance, we're looking at the seal around the perimeter. Places it's not even there. There's a big gap in between. They're kind of pulling out from the corners. Pretty typical for, I think this is about 9 years old, the roof. These skylights are warranted to last for about 10 years. One of the things that you see with them at this kind of point in their life is they're starting to reach the end of their service life. These seals are rubberized, so what the deal is the sun, the UV rays break it down, and they'll shrink and start to crack and peel, and I think that's kind of what we're seeing going on here. Looks as if there may be some water in between the panes as well, which would indicate that the exterior seal is leaking. And I don't think it's leaking into the interior from the skylight. I think it's the cause of somewhere else. So let's go ahead and pull this off and we'll see what we have. So upon pulling the skylight off, you can see what's going on. It's got quite a bit of water in between the panes here, which would kind of indicate that that exterior seal has kind of reached its end of its life. Look on the inside, there's some mildew growth, kind of showing that maybe it has been leaking before. On the interior as well, typical wear. It doesn't look like it was sealed from between the skylight to the curb. Let's take a look at, I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the curb next. Okay, let's take a look at the flashings first. You have flashings that wrap around this entire skylight, which make the transition from the roof surface up onto this curb. And then the skylight sits on top and it comes down and calls what we call counter flashes. It comes down a couple inches here. You always start on the bottom. Excuse me. The first piece is what we call a roof to wall. And that piece comes through and then it should wrap through, and then the other piece comes and laps over the top of it. Similar to what they have here, but let's open this up and see. Now, one thing we see is they didn't wrap it. They basically just cut up this edge here and folded it down. You always want to have this thing cut. The thing we're looking at here is that they don't have building paper. What you always want to see is the paper run from the roof surface up onto this vertical surface of the curb here. The reason why we like to do that is because anytime you have metal, you want some kind of backing behind it, waterproof backing, because what happens is they call it thermal bridging. And thermal bridging is what happens when moisture is on this side. It's like a soda can in the summertime. You open it up and condensation develops on it. Well, the moisture is always going to want to travel through to the warm side of the metal. So what happens is any moisture on this side can develop on the back side, which can create leaks as well at that point. So on the side we have what's called step flashing on either side, both sides. And basically it's doing the same thing, running from the roof surface up onto the vertical surface of the curb, similar to the roof wall, which is below. The only difference being is that you would want, for each course of shingle, you want one piece of step flashing in there. And it looks pretty close to what they have. And see how what happens is it runs from underneath the shingle and then up onto the surface. So every course, the water is allowed to get back out onto the roof surface and get out correctly. And then up above, sequentially, we have what's called as the pan flashing, which runs from the vertical surface up underneath. Typically it's wrapped as well. These step flashings come through and wrap through as well. Let's go ahead and open this up and see what we have here. So we removed the flashing here, and it looks like they wrapped this lower piece, or the upper step flashing. We have some evidence of this thermal bridging right here. See the water develop? That's why we always like to see building paper, like we were saying earlier. We're going to go ahead and remove all these shingles, the flashings, and put some felt paper that runs up onto the vertical surface, and replace the skylight as well. And that's what the recommendations will be for today. And finally, project complete. Repairs were made, and we should be good to go. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll look forward to seeing you on our next one. Bye.